Law number 13, the law of modeling. It's hard to improve when you have no one else but yourself to follow. In fact, follow me are the most important words a leader will ever say. So what are the qualities of a model that you would want to follow? Number one, a worthy example. A worthy example. You know that you're a worthy example when the people that follow you basically say something like this: someday I'd like to be just like him. Someday I'd like to be just like her. Andrew Carnegie said, as I grow older, I pay less attention to what men say. I just watch what they do. Number two, proven experience. To know the road ahead, ask those coming back. Number three, friendship and support. As the first question a follower asks of a leader is, do you care for me? And number four, a track record of making a difference in people's lives. Law number 14.
All right, I'm going to play one more because I was quick. The law of modeling.
Law of expansion. I love this law. Growth always increases our capacity. Nike said there is no finish line. Now, I don't want you to read on. I want to talk to you just for a moment, just from my heart, just for 30 seconds, and then we will move on. This law, the law of expansion, growth always increases our capacity. When I started in 1972, 73, when I started my personal growth plan, I had no sense of what it was going to do for me. So listen to me carefully. I thought it was going to grow. I thought I'm going to get this growth plan and I'm going to learn some things and I'll develop those areas and I'll develop those areas and I'll just get better and I'll grow. But I thought there'll be a time when I graduate. I mean, in other words, okay, I got that. I've got these things down now. And is there anything else in life I need to do? And what I had no idea is I had no idea what it would do on the inside of me. I didn't know what it would do for my soul. I didn't know what it would do to my mind. I knew that I was going to grow, but I didn't have any idea that it would not only begin to stretch me in all areas of my life, but what I didn't realize is that when I got stretched, one of the things you have to understand is once you really truly get stretched, you are never content to go back. It creates within you a total dissatisfaction to return to the good old days. Now, by the way, I value the good old days. There were some wonderful things in my heritage that I'm very grateful for, but I have no desire to go back. There's something about increasing your capacity that not only causes you not to want to turn around and look back, but what surprised me that I didn't know, and this is the law of expansion, is that when I increased my capacity, I had this thought that when I increased my capacity, I would get it to a certain level and I'd say, I'm at capacity. What I didn't have any clue is that you aren't at capacity. You can't get to capacity. That as you go out there, there's still more growth for you. In other words, I kind of thought there's a day when I will grow as big as I can grow. There's a day when I'll stretch as much as I can stretch, and I'll be growing and I'll be stretched. And what I didn't realize is when I got there, I discovered there's more stretching room, there's more growing room, that you never run out of capacity as long as you're stretching and expanding. That was a huge surprise for me. Now that I look on this side of it, and I'm still enjoying learning and growing and developing myself. I mean, after I'd written about 4 books, I said, I think I've tapped out my creativity. I think I'm done. I think I've written 4 books, and I think 4 books are 4 more than I ever planned on writing. And I think this is pretty amazing. And I don't think I have anything else to write about. If you had told me back then that I would write 73 books, I'd look at you. What do you mean I'll write 73 books? I don't even know 73 words. Mark and I were having this discussion the other day. I looked at it and said, okay, I'm 65. Am I going to run out? I mean, am I going to wake up one day and I don't have another creative thought? And it's just kind of like God calls me home. There's a sign from heaven that says, it's over. You're done. Buy a rocking chair. check out nursing homes. And I've come to the conclusion, I'm never going to run out. And I'm not going to run out not because I'm smart. I'm not going to run out because I even have high energy. I'm not going to run out because I'm going to keep growing. And there's something about growing that excites me. And I just read I read a book last week, and I'm reading it. And Margaret's at another appointment. I called her and said, "Oh, Margaret, I'm reading a book. You got to read this book. This book is so good." So I got done reading it, and I read it, and I called her and I said, "This is such a good book. Order me a box of these books." And she ordered me a box of books. I said, "Well, you read it." And Kevin, here, you read it. Dan, you read it. And Robert, I gave him one. I'm just passing out books because there's something. I mean, don't you think at 65 I have to lose my enthusiasm? Shouldn't there be a time when I just say, "Dear God, don't think I want to read another book. Sure don't want to buy a box. Those things cost." I don't know. The great surprise about growing is the capacity to grow more. You don't tap it out. You don't arrive. You don't say, "Done, finished." This is what's so exciting to me. And this is what I think allows people to live till they die. I think once they understand this, they just say, "Hey, there's still much more to learn. There's still so much more to grow. I've got a way yet." And I think that's the great thing about being in a growth plan is once you fall in love with growing, you never have to stop. You never arrive. You never graduate. You never peak. You just still keep growing. Okay? Wow, I love it. Okay, let's get back to those. 90% is your potential number. I love this. Experts usually agree that people typically use only 10% of their true potential. Let me just stop right there. Doesn't that just grab you? You and I probably use only 10% of our potential. And I think the people in this room are way above average. So I'm going to give you and me the benefit of the doubt. I don't think we're 10%ers. I think we're 12%ers. I just think just look at your neighbor and say, "We're a little better than the others." Go ahead and tell them. I don't think you're 10%ers. I think you're 12. You're 12, which means you only got 88% more to go. Look, so back to my notes. That statement is staggering, that 10% statement. If that's true, the average person has big odds for improvement. The odds for expansion are very high, 90%. How can we miss? We're not looking for 10% having developed 90% of our potential. We're looking at 90%. We're not almost there. We barely arrived. We barely start. We possess hundreds of acres of possibilities, but we keep only 1/2 acre under cultivation. The question is, how do we tap the 90% potential number? And the answer is found in changing. I love this part of the book. I love this part of the teaching because I believe this. I remember writing this book, part of the book, just spending probably 2 days making sure I nailed this down. Because when I tell you that you can start working on that 90% potential, I got to have some integrity. I kept asking myself, how does a person get there? Okay, so I'm reading that last statement again. The question is, how do we tap the 90% potential number? The answer is found in changing, 1, how we think, and 2, what we do. Now, this is going to be very simple. I don't even need to explain it. I'm just going to jumpstart you. Talk about how we think. We got to change how we think. Number 1, we need to stop thinking more work and start thinking what works. If working longer and harder made you successful, then developing countries would already be successful. I've traveled enough and watched poor people work hard to know that that is not the answer. Number 2, we need to stop thinking, "Can I?" and start thinking, "How can I?" Oh, yes. See, "Can I?" is filled with questions and doubts. "How can I?" You've already settled the issue that you're going to try it. Now you're just going to say, "How can I do it?" It's not, "Am I going to do it?" There's a world of difference between "can I" and "how can I?" And we need to stop thinking one door, one way, and start thinking many doors, many ways. This idea that if there's only one door of opportunity for you, and if you don't catch it and find it at the right time, you're lost. I'm telling you, I don't know where we ever learned that, but that's a bunch of garbage. First of all, let me just say this. If you find the open door, the first thing you're going to do when you get through it is you're going to get disappointed because you're going to find out it doesn't have everything you thought it had on the other side. You see, one door just gives you access to go get another door. That gives you access to find another door. That gives you access to find another door. That gives you access to find another door. And by the time you really have found everything that you need, you've gone through many doors. And I've watched people who, boy, I just had my hopes set on that. Wow, that opportunity closed. Boy, I didn't get that. I didn't, what am I going to do? I didn't get that job. Quit thinking one door. There are many doors. We not only need to change how we think, we need to change what we do. Okay. Number one, stop doing only those things you have done and start doing those things you could or should do. In other words, a lot of the stuff that we're doing, we could stop because it's pretty worthless and start doing the things that we could or should do. Now, let me just read the paragraph. At first, you do what you know. But the more that you do what you know, you will discover additional worthy things, innovative things that you know you should do. At this point is a pivotal decision. If you know what you should do, but continue to do what you've always done, you're in a rut. But if you know what you should do and then do what you know you should do, you're leading and you're growing. Get out of your comfort zone. Stay in your strength zone. Don't ever get out of your strength zone. That's it. Always get out of your comfort zone. Okay. Number two, stop doing what is expected and start doing more than is expected. Jack Welch calls that getting out of the pile. Just get out of the pile. Do more than is expected of you. Have your standards higher than the people that have standards for you. Number three, stop doing important things every once in a while and start doing important things every day. If it's important, don't treat it like a birthday once a year. Do it every day. Okay. Boy, the law of expansion. I love that law because I just know that once you start growing, you think you have capacity and you're going to say, boy, I'm going to get to my capacity. And the reason I know the 90% number, by the way, the 90% number is a trick. Let me explain to you. What you find is when you start growing, you think, okay, I'll cover all this territory and I'll have arrived, only to realize that the more you know that you don't know. And the more you have done, the more you know that you haven't done. And so what happens is that number is always out in front of you because the more you experience, the more you realize you still haven't experienced near enough. It never runs out.
All right. Mr. John Maxwell. I want you guys to type in the chat, biggest takeaways. I'm going to go over my notes. So, law number 13 is the law of modeling. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's the first one we went over. Law of modeling. It's hard to improve when you have no one else but yourself to follow. That's the great thing about the community. You should always be asking yourself, who am I listening to, right? Are they a worthy example? Do they have proven experience, friendship, and support? I'm just somebody who's in this with you. The people we should be looking at is Hugh Zaretsky, the instructors, leaders that are building in the markets and that are in our areas, right? That's why you have these calls. Gavin, Bob Snyder on Renatus, or on the founders call, right? Always modeling those individuals who have high success over a long period of years, right? Always ask yourself, are they a worthy example? Do they have proven experience? Do they give me friendship and support, which we are fortunate enough to have as a team here locally, right? Model those individuals. Model the people who want to have the life that you want, that have the freedom you want, that the kind of money, the marriage, the relationship with their kids, the communication, right? People who have a track record of making a difference in people's lives. Okay, we have a lot of those different models we can, a lot of different people we can model after. Okay, a lot of people we can model after. So then he went into law number 14. He said, law of expansion. He says, there is no finish line. There is no finish line to this marathon we are racing. Because once we reach a certain level that we're after, there's always going to be that next level. He says it's a total dissatisfaction going back to the good old days, moving backwards. You never run out of your capacity as long as you're stretching and growing. Once you fall in love with growing, you won't stop. So write this down. Your income will not grow if you don't grow. That is why we focus on the mindset. That's why we focus on the habits, focusing on doing the classes. If you don't grow, your income's not going to grow. Right? The business behind the business, guys, is personal development. Growing your communication, growing your leadership, growing your habits, growing your consistency, your focus, your abundance. Because naturally, the more your capacity grows, your income grows, your value grows, You should have your growth plan that you're working on every single day. He said we're only using 10% of our true potential, maybe 12 because we're above average, right? Most people in Renatus are not average. We're not typical. The fact that we invested in this fraternity and this society that we're a part of doesn't make us average. But our goal is we want to be, you know, not typical of the unaverage, right? We want to be above average in the above average of Renatus, right? That's not our goal. It's just to be above average when you compare to people in our lives. It's not really, or when you look at people surrounding ourselves outside of Renatus, right? We want to chase those people that are out in front of us in this company who's had the huge success that we're looking for. It says, how do we tap into that? We have to tap in by changing, right? We talked about if you don't grow or you don't change, your life will not grow, your life will not change. It's all about your thinking. Okay. He talks about how are we thinking and changing that. Start thinking about what works, right? If you notice, he always went back to the focus on what you want or the positive, the intent, not the negative. Start thinking what works, right? He said, stop thinking more work, start thinking what works. Stop can I, start saying to yourself, how can I? Stop saying you're only one door away and start with many doors in many ways. He goes on to say, not only do you have to think correctly, which is the majority of it, but you're going to have to take the action. Stop doing only things you have done. Start doing things you could and should do. Get out of your comfort zone, stay in your strength zone, right? This is where you guys need to work on your awareness, our personal development, what we're working on and figuring out, knowing ourselves and our strengths and staying in that, but getting out of our comfort zone, pushing ourselves. Stop doing what is expected and start doing more than expected. Show up early, stay late, come clean cut. You know, you ultimately are your business card. How are you presenting yourself? Do more than what is expected and you'll get more than what you do. Said, start doing the important things every single day, not once in a while, right? Okay, I want to read something to you guys. There's a book I've been reading, and every single one of you guys should read this book. It is probably one of the best books that I've had, just right up there with Think and Grow Rich, The Magic of Thinking Big. Have any of you guys read it? Where is this? Give me 1 second. The Magic of Thinking Big. Let me read to you guys a couple different quotes. When you believe, actually I can type them in the chat or in here. When you believe, your mind finds ways to do it. Okay, when you believe something is impossible, right? If you believe something cannot be done, your mind goes to work for you to prove why. But when you believe and you truly, truly believe something can be done, your mind goes to work for you and helps you find the ways to do it, right? He's talking about growth and expansion and changing our thinking. When we look at how can we start doing things, how can we do things differently, and truly believing it can be done, your mind, what you'll notice is will come up with ideas on how to do it because you believe in it. Belief releases creative powers. Disbelief Belief releases creative power. Disbelief puts the brake on. Now think about that. When you say I can't do something, you just made that decision in your mind. Like Pat says, when you ask yourself the question, how can I? It opens up your mind of possibilities and gets the creative juices flowing. Okay, maybe I can contact this person. Maybe I can reach out to this. Maybe we can try something like that. You start to think of ways to make it work because you know it can happen. Okay. Another one says, eliminate the word impossible from your thinking and speaking vocabularies. Impossible is a failure word. The thought, it's impossible, sets off a chain reaction of other thoughts to prove you're right. All right, we're talking about thinking and mindset. The only thing worthy of our mental concentration is why we can. I'm going to repeat that. The only thing worthy of our mental concentration is why we can. How true is that? The only thing we should be focusing on is what we want, not what we don't want. Things that we're going to accomplish and that we believe can happen. That's all you should be thinking about. Now we have to train our mind to do this, especially if we have a habit of doing the opposite. But what I want to do is bring conscious to it for us. And I want us to be aware of how we're speaking and how we're thinking, because ultimately that will cause us to act in a certain way, right? Another one is you have to have an open mind, right? With the things we're talking about, and and start really engaging in being teachable and coachable, like we talked about, and willingness to change and having that open mind. It says nothing grows in ice. If we let our tradition / old way of thinking freeze our minds, new ideas cannot sprout. So if we're not open to receiving it and we're hearing things that can potentially really help us, but we're not willing to grow and we have a fixed mindset, these new ideas and these, like we said, it goes back. In order to achieve the things you want in life, you have to do the things you've never done before, right? One way you can do that is when hearing a new idea or a new idea or new concept is asking yourself, being curious and figuring out, tell me more about it, right? When you're listening to it. Or that's interesting, tell me more about it. Be receptive to ideas. Be an experimental person. Try new things. Be progressive, not regressive. Okay? Talks about, let's see, I have a few other ones. I've taken a lot of notes in this book. He said, ideas of others also help you to spark your own ideas so the mind is more creative. One thing that's really good that I got from this book, it says, we learn nothing from telling, but there's no limit to what we can learn by asking and listening. Right? How powerful is that? Magic of thinking big. I can't put it down. Okay, so let me go to your chat. Sorry, I went a little bit off the wall there. But this, something that's been really a main focus of mine, controlling our thinking, right? Focusing our thoughts on the right thoughts. Okay. Olivia, what's up, everybody? Welcome, Olivia. She got her education, so congratulations to you. There is no finish line. She says, your desire to learn and grow will only increase as you're learning and growing. You'll never want to stop. Always growing, never at capacity. Start doing things you could or should do instead of what you've always done. Okay. Greatest Salesman in the World is a really good book. Yes, did you finish the whole thing, Pat? Did you get to see the twist at the end? I love how they just incorporated Jesus and God in that. I thought that was really cool. Thinking outside of the box. Okay. So, man, just love it. Okay, can you guys still see my screen? Any questions on that? Questions, comments, or observations from what we just covered for the last 20 minutes? Okay. Remember, when you believe, your mind finds a way to do it. Belief releases creative powers. Disbelief puts the brakes on. I mean, just think about this. When you're talking to somebody and they truly believe in something, that feeds off over to you, right? You can see it. You can feel it. You know that that person truly believes in what they're trying to accomplish. Now, if they're not that confident in it, don't truly believe it, not certain, and they're trying to sell you on their dream, you can feel it and it puts the brakes on, right? You understand what that does, right? Oh, let me see here. I don't know why my chat's doing this. Okay. Perfect. All right, guys. So I want to switch gears here for a little bit. I'm going to kind of go into, there's a new competition or a new Superstar Success rally, new pin that you can get a part of. We're going to cover this real quick, and then I'm going to go into a little bit on how to work this back office. I'm noticing, I want you guys to understand what you guys have access to and all those different things, and a little bit of the Google Drive, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. And then I want to talk about the events, and then I guess I can do this real quick. So I'm going to go over this week's events. Okay, so tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm going to Sacramento for Scott Rowe. Thursday is cash flow on Spreckles. And then Saturday is Sacramento. Darren Davis, somebody came off mute. Okay. Okay, so you need to make sure you always register yourself for events. This will help for your tax return. This will show you how much, where you go, how much time you're putting into your real estate business. That's something good for your CPA. Renata sends you a whole list of what you went through for the whole year and all the events you registered for. So it's really important. I'm doing my part. I'm making sure our events are online. Sometimes there's so many events going on right now that they get lost, but again, they are up there. I promise you the next few weeks are. So what I want to do, I'm going to go into that, and then I'm going to go into this Superstar Success thing. So does everybody know how to register for an event? Let's start there first. I think most of you do. Okay, Carlos knows. Who doesn't know how to register for an event? I guess that would be the best way to say it. Okay, are you guys, okay, cool. So you guys know how to register for events. Perfect. I'm gonna go through it real quick for people who don't know. And for the recording. So when you come here into your back office right now, we are not using Helios to register for events until Helios rolls out. Then we will be going through Helios in order to register for events. But we are currently still using the original back office. And you're going to see all these different tabs up here, right? You have your home, you have your AMP, which if you are IMA, this helps you send it out to potential prospects and clients. Communication tab is where you want to go for real estate events, okay? Somebody's drawing on my screen, so just be aware, okay? So on this communication tab, you're going to see you have calendar events, corporate emails, corporate documents, advertising materials, etc. If you go to calendar events, this is where you will be able to find the events that big old blue line on my screen. Okay, this is where you will be able to find all the events in California. You can go to the different states if you travel, but this is what you should be doing every week. Thank you. This is what you should be doing every month. Going in there and looking at the different events that you want to attend, scheduling those and putting those into your calendar and scheduling everything else around it. It's what all the top income earners do. This business, you want to, replace your income. If you want to double your income, if you want to just make an extra 20, 50 grand, whatever it is, if you want to do this full time, you have to make it a priority to get to these events, associate with other community members, and make it a priority. Okay? If it's a priority, if it's something really you want, it'll show up in your actions. If not, no big deal. But you need to know you're going to get out what you put in. So I always come in for the beginning of the month, figure out when the intensives are for Sacramento, figure out what dates I have. We need to do cash flows. We made a switch this week, obviously from Wednesday to Thursday. Then we're going back next to Wednesday next week. Okay. And then we have a property tour I actually need to put up here. But you should be coming into here, looking at them. Okay, look, we got an event. If I came over on Monday, I did send a text out. When there is changes, I will send a text out to let you guys know as well. I'll even try to send some reminders and let you guys know the events. We go over them every week. But this is a way for you to take some initiative in your business. Come in here and say, okay, look, we got an event on the 18th and the 20th. If we're at the beginning of the month, I know it's the 20th. If I want to go to a Super Saturday in Sacramento, you should. Everybody should be trying to go to the Super Saturdays in Sacramento. It's going to help you grow and expand your marketing business and your personal development. If I go in there and do that, I know that there's nothing, I need to schedule everything else around there. Somebody calls me most likely to do something on Saturday, and it falls on these dates, I'm not going. Most of the time. There is some exceptions, right? Once in a great while. But this is what you should be coming to doing constantly, seeing what's going on. If you're going to travel, you can go to different states. But it's really simple. You want to look for Central Valley cash flow. Sometimes it's black. Sometimes it's green like the rest. I don't understand why. I don't want to sign up for that class. It is what it is. So you got to just carefully look sometimes, because you can see on Wednesdays it gets caught up under here. A lot of people are doing events on Wednesdays in Manteca or in California now. So all you do is simply go and click on it. What's cool is it's at 7 o'clock, that's 7:20. It's going to tell you who's running the event, where it's going to be at this week. It's going to be in Spreckles. If there's a fee or a cost with it, and you always need to add yourself to the cart first so that you can get credit for being there. If you are an IMA and you want to have guests, you always have to add yourself first. So when you plug in your guest, they know who it's protected to. It's very simple, very easy. If you're going to put somebody as a guest, there's 4 things you need to have in order to register somebody for an event. First and last name, phone number, and email. That's all you got to do. Those are required across the board. You do that, you can add them to your cart and complete registration. It's very simple, very easy, and we need to make it a priority to constantly do that. If you come over here to Sacramento, what I do when I do my Eventbrite every month is I just come in here and see what he puts under there as far as the description, and I just copy it and maybe add a few things if it's very short like this. We can see that the event is from 9 to 5 on the 20th. It's a $50 IMA registration fee. If you register late after the 19th, they charge an extra $10. It says here there is no guest registration fee for $0. That's, that might be a typo because it's typically $50 each, but this is why you should go in and check every month, because sometimes they charge more for other speakers and things of that nature. So that's really cool. I didn't know that they were doing that. If I knew that and looked earlier in the month, because you can pay $99 and all your guests are free, or you can charge them, I would have saved myself some money. See, I need to register myself for the event as well. So it needs to be a practice. It needs to be a habit. And you should be making your schedule around let's see who is off, who is on. Kenny, you are off mute. Thank you. You are off mute. We can all hear your music. I just muted you. Okay. Is this for online only? So you have to read it, right? It says, this one right here, it says, okay, here you go. So that was online. So that's why, Olivia. So right here is the top one. This is for the in-person registration. So that's where I made the mistake. See, this is the Tribute Center. So this is the location. The one I was just in was the online event. So that was my mistake. Yep. So they do stream it online, but it's much better to obviously go in person. I need to add myself to that. Go in person and network and build relationships within the community. Don't, you know, if you're part of this fraternity in the society, Sacramento is a larger team than ours. Take advantage. Sacramento, you know, San Jose has people showing up every week. Take advantage, right? You should be well known within the community. You want to build resources. You want to build contacts. You want to be known. You want to get exposure. That's how resources and people are going to come to you. You have to go to them first until you build up that reputation, and then they start coming to you. Okay. So Saturday, it's going to be a really cool event. Darren Davis, over 200 flips, right? So is everybody now clear on how to register for events? Remember, it's the fundamentals. Okay, perfect. Is everybody here? Everybody should have access to the Google Drive folder. So what you guys should all have access to is this Alpha Systems folder. Now, a lot of people will say, hey, I don't know if I have access to it. Can you send it to me? I'm pretty sure everybody does, and this is how you guys can check. If you guys go to your Google Drive and you go to this side right here, Priority, My Drive, Shared with Me. If you guys go to Shared with Me, you should be able to see Alpha Systems in that Shared with Me. So this way you don't need the team drive, you don't need a password, it's shared with you, and we don't need to deal with any of that. What you can then do when there's a folder that's shared with you, and you want it to be in your drive, you could simply drag and click and move it to My Drive, and it will be then added over there, so you don't have to go to Shared with Me. Close deals. Right? Very simple, very easy. Now, what this Alpha System has, it has you know, information from Team Elevate, a national thumb drive I invested with Woody, thousands of dollars. I just have all the information from it. I mean, there's a lot of content in there. You guys should just take a look at. Contracts, lead generation, property walkthrough, calls and scripts, calls and texts, training, commercial deal analysis spreadsheet, fix and flip handout, right? Renatus marketing, if you're building that site, Craigslist ads, which you can't put in job posts anymore. If you're a new IMA, this is something you want to click on. IMA first day when you're starting to grow that side of it. 130 ways to find people. A call script when you're calling cold leads. Closing questions to people after an event. These are all things you should be setting time aside for if you're building the marketing business. Okay, you guys have all the tools there. My job is to guide you to them, but you guys have to go through them. You know, you guys have to study them. You have to master them. All right, so you guys should all have access to this. Check your Google Drive tonight. If not, type in Alpha Systems in there, and it'll be in there. If not, then you send me an email, and I'll get you taken care of. Now, also, actually, instead of sending me an email, would probably be faster if you just put in the group me chat that you don't have access, because the thing is, guys, every single person here on the team can share this folder with their team members. So when you bring in a new team member, you be the one and take the initiative, and you share the alpha folder with them, right? All you got to do is come right up here and you can go to share. Very simple, very easy. Is that clear? Does that make sense? Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? Does that make sense? I don't know where my chat is. I don't know what's going on with my stuff here. All right. So, are any of you guys going up to Sacramento tomorrow? All right, I'll be going up there to go see Scott Rowe. Make sure you guys register. Yeah, he'll be out there for the next 6 months. All right, I want to let you guys know. Have you guys watched this video with Bob Snyder? I'm going to play it, and then we're going to wrap this thing up.
Hey, everybody. Hey, man, we're just taking a little cruise out on my mountain bike today, you know, as I'm heading down the highways and the byways of Utah, man. I love being out in the mountains. It is such a good time. And I was thinking a little bit about, well, financial vehicles. Financial vehicles. You know, there's a lot of different types of financial vehicles. Kind of like a lot of different types of vehicles. But if you want to get to the top of the mountain, man, you got to have a ride that's going to get you there, right? And this little thing I'm running around on right now, man, I'm telling you, if I want to go to the top of the mountain, I'm going to be hours and hours and hours trying to get this thing up there, and probably about 75,000 battery changes. But if I want to get there fast, well, there's only one way to do it. And that's with the right vehicle. Well, guess what, man? Renatas is that right vehicle. It's the vehicle for your success and acceleration to wherever you want to go. That's the beauty of it. I mean, if an individual wants to take a nice leisure cruise through the mountain, they can certainly do that with Renata. But if you want to step on the gas and get your financial goals that much faster, then you have that opportunity, much like this vehicle. You know, if you're going to get to the top of this physical mountain, well, you're going to need to have the right tires, you're going to have the right setup, the right suspension, the right engine, and of course, you know what? You got to have some experience driving the darn thing so that you don't go off the road into a creek. So, want to get to the top of the financial mountain? Renatas is it. Want to get to the top of this mountain? Well, here's where we go. Because the top is where we're going. Yeah! So when I get folks started Renatas, man, there's always a question. Do you want to go fast or do you want to go slow? Because if you go slow, you're going to frustrate yourself, you're going to frustrate everybody else. If you want to go fast, there's going to be some bumps and bruises along the way. You know, you're going to have to watch the corners, you have to develop some skills, but man, you can get to the top of the mountain in a hurry. And to help you, right now, we've got an amazing deal going on. A promotion. We're going to call it Renatas Rally. That's right, man. It's the Renatas Summer Rally. To get folks moving in the right direction, see what we can do to help you speed along and drive the success you're looking for. What does it consist of? Really simple. You got to get yourself 1-star qualified in 30 days, 5-star qualified in 60 days. Either way, that's going to make you a superstar. Yeah. Then you're going to be able to get yourself that privileged opportunity of being one of the very few who get into the Renatas vault. A vault so that you can choose for yourself that special item that's going to designate you as a Renatas superstar. That's what it's all about. Then, if you get yourself 5-star qualified in 60 days, 5-star, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to help you by buying your ticket to the national conference. That's right, man. We're going to buy your ticket to the national conference. But you also get this amazing little 5-star 60-day pin. It's going to set you apart from everybody else in the company. Listen, it's all about our journey together and getting to the top of the mountain as a group. Because the fastest way for start to money is with your warm market. Get after it. Put your pedal to the metal. Don't let anything hold you back. And when you get to the top of the mountain, man, I'm telling you, the view is absolutely amazing. The experience is to die for. The memories you create will help to move you forward with confidence in the future, and you're going to definitely want to do it with your friends. Look at that view. Look at that view. That is insane. I'm telling you, so much better than being down in the dust and the dirt and the muck and the mire. That's the view you want to look at, because that's financial freedom, baby. I'll see you at the top of the mountain.
Okay, so they're having a Renatus rally. Let's go see. It says Helios has the details. So this is a really cool opportunity for those of you guys just started within the 30 or 60 days. Let's see what the qualifications are, because I know there's a few of you who guys are right there. So some of you guys just have 1 or 2 sales from being 1-star or being 5-star. All right, you guys will receive a special pin, special silver 1-star qualified pin. If you're 1-star or if you're 5-star, you'll get another special pin, but they'll also buy your national conference ticket. Okay, Carlos, I know you're really close. Pat, you're close. Olivia, I know you can be close. And I believe even, you know, people who have been in more than just started have a crack at this as well. So, you know, the fastest way he said is your warm market, guys. If you want to do a lot of real estate, you should build a team. You know, it's completely bonus. It's completely optional. It's completely up to you. Honestly, it doesn't really affect me either way. I'm just going to let you know from my experience, this is ultimately your business. Do what feels right to you. I just know I wish I would have started the marketing a lot sooner. My business doubled a lot faster. I got a lot more resources. My first private lender was from Marketing Renatus. I got my deals from it. I got great connections, great people. It works, right? But it's up to you. It's just a bonus, but it's kind of cool that they're doing this special pin. They'll pay for your national conference ticket. Everybody should start making way for national conference. You know, we have regionals coming up before then. So we're going to get into busy season with the regionals right now. For those of you who are new, contacting people that like and trust you and let them know about the great things that you're learning and you're experiencing is the best way, right? And ultimately, it's on you guys. This is your business. I think Bob was focusing on not crashing, right? So that's what I have for you guys tonight. Change the way you think big, think about what you want. Make sure you guys are registering for the events for Thursday. We're going to be out there. So any questions or comments or anything in you guys' business that you guys want to talk about before we end the call tonight? Okay, Mary and Carlos and everybody, congratulations on this Monday. Pat and Michelle, we just accepted an offer on the Joseph property for $215. So that should be closed out by the end of the month. So that's going to be fun. We're expecting to make like 12 to 13,000. So not a ton of money, but you know, it's a good first deal for us to be a part of. Awesome. Good. Okay. Carlos, I talked to Juan about the property. In Palo Alto, it came in a little bit lower than what we expected because of the area. So I'll give you a call and let you know about that. And this is why we reach out to our resources. You know, we're looking at a property together. We seen a number, but I didn't know the area very well. I reached out to my broker who does know the area, and he gave me the number and let me know that, you know, it was different than what we were looking at. And that's why it's always good to have people double check your numbers because they know they have that knowledge or that they different perspective. Okay. So hope you guys have a phenomenal night. I'll see you Wednesday, if not Thursday, and then we have the event Saturday. Okay, guys, have a good one.